you live your life going a certain way, you know, and then something like that happens, and all of a sudden it's 180 and it's going another way. I was 10 years old. My biggest thing was, you know, playing baseball. Now I got to worry about where am I going to live? What am I going to do? Because I'm used to having my parents around. I think you guys kind of realized, hey, we fucked up.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, this is,
It's our punishment.
Yeah.
We did it. We're doing our time for our crime.
You know, but I never thought it would be the extent of.
Me either.
Now it's like, am I ever going to see my parents again? Am I, you know? And
I held it together in front of the judge until I turned around and saw you crying.
Yeah.
But I was worried that you'd hate me because I lied to you, because I told you a year and a half,
Right.
and here I'm going to be gone, you know.
Yeah. I don't think I ever hated you for that. And it was probably the whole situation. You know, my life got flipped upside down.
He went through hell. Yeah, when you lose both parents at the same time, all of a sudden, you know, I mean, it's hard to imagine. I was lucky enough to have a good family. My mom took him. He was with her for about a year.
Grandma Linda, she was really nice to me. She was a lot like my mom. So it was like, she was laid back, easygoing, always laughing, you know, cracking jokes, smoked like a chimney, just like my mom.
And then I got a call in county jail from my stepdad that my mom died. I requested permission to go to my mom's funeral, and the prosecuting attorney denied it. That was really tough, because I never got to see her again. She wasn't a motherly type person, you know, but I loved my mom. Josh then went to live with my dad and stepmom. When you're in prison, you're just there. Nothing changes there. So I'd walk a lot. And they had, you know, all kinds of different programs and stuff like that. Because you got to do your time. You can't let your time do you. July 2nd, 1999, I was released from Alderson, West Virginia. I was 9 years into my sentence, and I appealed the gun charge because when they came into my house and took all my guns, I wasn't even home. So they didn't get me carrying one or using one, not one. So I got released from prison. Josh didn't know I was released. So we thought, well, we'll surprise him.
You know, I'm getting ready to start college in a month, you know, and I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, you're getting out in 5 years. So,
right.
You know, and she comes out from behind me and she's like, you remember me? And I'm like, I turn around, I'm like, it was just,
you a minute.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you see and you're like, am I dreaming? What's going, you know, like, and then everything kind of caught up to me, and, you know, we hugged and cried, and yeah, it was definitely the last thing I expected, you know.
Surprise.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh my God, oh my God. And we just cried and hugged, and, you know, it was an awesome feeling. I love that kid. I'm ready to change my life completely and start over. I'm sober, healthy, and thinking straight these days. I can't go back and change anything that happened or the things I've done. All I can do is move ahead and work towards my future. And I want to make it up to him somehow. I'll never break a promise again. Well, they do this to me on purpose. When I first got out, I mean, I was scared to go anywhere because I didn't want to be around drugs. You know, I was trying to be on the straight and narrow. But then it was like I was at my parents' house, and it's like I felt like I was still in prison. So I went down and I got a job, XL meat packing plant. It was the same place my brother Tom worked when it was Hormel, and same place my dad worked years ago when it was Morrell. And that is hard work.
I said, I want you to work at the meatpacking plant like I did. It's the best place in town because you got to stay sober. And so she's working there.
Worked all day and everything, but it seemed like when I got off work, I didn't just want to go to Dad's house. So I went to Wendy's and applied for a night job. So I was doing 2 jobs, and lasted for a little while, but it's like, I was missing something. I was like, it wasn't me. I needed something.
I hear she's doing well, then all of a sudden I get here, hey, she's not working there. Then I hear she's drinking. I was like, oh boy.
When Lori and Floyd went to prison, there weren't any drugs for a while.
Just slowed it down a little bit, but then it picked right back up.
There was no way you were gonna keep people sober once meth came into town. It didn't matter if Floyd and Lori went to jail, it wasn't dry long.
Some of my friends were still doing meth. This gal come up and asked if I knew anybody that wanted some, because she was trying to sell some. I said, okay, well, I can make a quick 50 bucks. So I did that, and then I think it was the next night, she was back in there, and I got more, and it just took off again so quick.
I think my daughter peed for her a few times, and she was getting away with that, like, sneaking and using my daughter's pee, which my daughter was okay with that, because she was making $5 a drop. That was a lot of money to her back then.
I bought another bar, I bought another house, I bought a new vehicle. And I started getting back into pounds and stuff.
It's kind of like, oh my goodness, what are you doing, girl? She just got out of prison, and I come back from Des Moines, and all of a sudden, she bought the fucking place right across from Brendo Pizza. And I'm like,
a big bar, you get big
fucking bar right on the corner. I'm like, fuck, this is like walking into the wild sun like times 10.
I was trying to recapture all the fun I had in the past. So, and all I was thinking was money. I didn't care about the drugs. I wasn't doing them,
Money's the root of all evil.
Oh, shut the hell up.
I get a call from one of the federal guys. He's like, okay, she's dealing drugs again. I was like, oh, shit. But if you get her to quit, right away, we're not going to bust her again. So I fly to town, and I pull her aside. I said, Lori, you think, oh, you're dealing drugs. If you stop right now, you're not going to get busted. And she's like, mind your own fucking business.
I was getting ready to go to the casino. I was taking my friend Lisa. So I said, I'll pick you up in a minute. But this guy wanted to buy a whole pound, so I'm gonna drop the whole pound off first and then go pick Lisa up. So he said, well, let's just meet in Walmart parking lot. I'm like, all right. And he pulled up next to me, and he gets some money out, and I've got the dope. And I just kind of look up real quick, and I see these guys running up behind me with guns drawn and everything. Like, shit. They grabbed the doorknob and opened it up and had guns in my face. So I didn't say a word. There we go. It was over. I felt like an idiot doing it the second time. First time, I thought I had a purpose or reason or goal or something, but second time it was just stupid.
I don't know where her head was the second time. But of course, once again, I was kind of like down there hanging out with her again, so I'm not right either.
I got sober September 22nd, 1995, and I've been sober ever since. I thought when she got out of prison, she would go to meetings, I would go to meetings, we'd hang out, and we'd rebuild our lives together, and that's really what I thought would happen, and it did, I wasn't surprised that she went back to prison. I was sad for her, sad for Josh. There's still a lot of pain.
Oh, I am sorry for what I've done. I'm sorry that it's ruined people's lives. I'm sorry that, you know, that people kept doing it even after they see everything go down and long prison sentences for people, and they still didn't stop, but their kids are starting to grow up and their kids are getting into it. And I didn't see that because I was away. Right. I was locked up. So I didn't realize it was going on. So, you know, I feel guilty about people's kids, your kid. I feel guilty about that.
Yeah, he's been off and on doing it for, God, he was probably 17. I didn't know he'd been smoking weed since he was 11. Then when I got sober, he started drinking and tripping on acid and started doing meth, and man, it's been my whole recovery has been Dustin using meth, my niece using meth, my grandkids all fucked up because of meth. It's like, you know, I've never got away from it.
Right. You know, it hits close to home when your good friend's kid turned to drugs and got in trouble with the law and stuff like that. It makes you realize that it can't just be him. It's got to be a lot of the other kids, you know, the parents that were buying drugs from me or my suppliers. So, yeah, it puts a different spin on things.
I'm not the only child who was seriously neglected, who had trauma happen to me due to the neglect of my mother from meth. The first time I ever did meth, I was 12. And where did that meth come from? It came from Lori and Floyd.
My parents loved their drugs just as much as they loved their children. We were put in bad places and were around bad people. And I sincerely feel that I was robbed of my childhood.
The town lost a whole bunch of parents at the same time. It wasn't just Lori. A bunch of people went to prison in our town. And really a generation of kids ended up being raised by their grandparents all over the whole country.
Well, I feel bad because I have a half-brother. My mom had him when she was 41. He looked up to me, you know, and he's a drug addict to this day. He's got congestive heart failure now. He's 36 years old, and they won't do anything for him because he's a drug addict. So it's like I led him down the way wrong path, you know. I should have been better sister, you know.
My little brother died just August 3rd.
Really?
Yeah.
From meth?
Yeah, they found a meth pipe in his pocket, put it on the streets of Arizona, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it is. It's very devastating, you know, and he always wanted to be like me. And I always told him, stop. And then he moved to Arizona.
It's like, it really makes you feel like everything is better high.
You have no worries, no cares in the world. Yep. Your world could be following around with you, and as long as you got fucking high, you're good.
Fucked up idea of life that
that's why you
supposed
close
to be
out your
easy.
family and everything else because you don't do those things.
But I was introduced to meth just shortly before everybody else was. So I didn't know the drug either, you know.
Right.
When the first time I tried it, I'm like, well, it's pretty good, you know, I'm feeling it. So I want my friends to share it with me. It wasn't like, I want to go get everybody addicted and ruin their fucking lives. Right. Yeah, you know, that wasn't a plan. You don't think about the bad.
No, you never think about the bad.
When I got arrested the second time, I did 6 years. With Josh, we're smiles, we're hugs, we love each other. But we've got a distance that we never had before. Because I lied. You know, I've made him promises that I didn't keep, and I got back into it. And here I go again type of thing, so.